Hello, my friends. Let's talk about God of War. But first, take a moment and reflect upon what role anger plays in your life. How often do you yell for something other than joyous excitement? Maybe not as much in your adult life, but throughout my formative years, anger was the defining emotion of my day-to-day experience. Daily harassment by my peers in school, counselors, and therapists telling me to have self-control and to overcome harassment by simply not reacting to it. It was a time when the schools didn't really understand the psychological effects of bullying, and they wanted to make me stronger, more resilient to it. But ultimately, it wasn't resilience that made the harassment stop. My daily experience was about proving my self-control and avoiding the consequences of when that wasn't possible. Different periods of my life have come to be defined by different emotions, but despite how obstructive it was, I didn't want to deny my anger. To do so would mean to make the reasons for my feelings lack legitimacy. It would mean to legitimize my harassers. It would mean I would have lost to them. Anger was how my young mind demanded recognition, and thus anger was useful. For Kratos, this was also true. Anger was his standard mode of being, the tool by which he sought his revenge against the gods of Olympus. But eventually, he saw the all-encompassing nature of anger. He became calm and stoic, icy in his countenance, until those moments when he needed to release the rage meter to solve a particular problem, to ignite the fires of chaos within. As a result, the lessons that Kratos passed along to his son Atreus were reminiscent of my own upbringing. Kratos tells Atreus early on to harden his heart to his enemies, to focus on the goal, and to only use anger as a tool and not be used by it. The only thing that mattered, the only thing they had to do, was to bring his mother Faye's ashes to the highest peak in all the realms. Whatever deviated from that goal was of no consequence. In this way, Kratos' own philosophy is inherently about pragmatism. Pragmatism is a unique philosophical position both historically and metaethically. It is the only philosophical school considered to be a unique invention of the United States, and it neither denies the existence of ethical or moral values, nor gives those values any weight or importance when it comes to making decisions or taking actions. Pragmatism is the belief that you need not and ought not consider higher-order principles or rational values when making decisions. Instead, it suggests you only do whatsoever is most practical right now, what best accomplishes the goal. Now, Kratos is a very creative character, very thoughtful, though admittedly only exercises these traits when solving puzzles or killing monsters. But he has always been goal-oriented, first in his revenge, and now in spreading his wife's ashes. Spoilers are coming from here on, so you're on notice. As Kratos and Atreus find themselves moving through the world, Kratos maintains this pragmatic view of the conflicts of others as well. When in Alfheim, land of the elves, Kratos frequently reminds Atreus that he is only seeing one side of the conflict. Yet, Kratos also emphasized that it didn't matter, that they would fight through anything if it got in their way. Even though Kratos acknowledged that the Dark Elves could have a reason for fighting that war, he didn't care. He had a goal, and, like a good Spartan, would soldier on. That same ethos of you only know one side came up often when Mimir told stories of the gods or when dealing with the Valkyries, and each time was dismissed to instead focus on gathering resources. This single-minded focus was, however, cut short when Atreus came down with a sickness caused by a conflict of the mind. Believing himself to be mortal when in fact he was a god, just like his father, created an imbalance in his body that manifested as an extremely high fever as well as frequent asthma attacks. Kratos finally revealed the truth to his son, and what resulted was a massive shift in Atreus' character. All the lessons of harden your heart and the only thing that matters is the goal finally sunk in. A god can do whatever they want, the power to pursue any goal, so why not do as you please? There is no reason to care for the lives of lowly humans or the whims of the gods. The plight of others means nothing in the face of your own goals. Nothing Atreus had been taught by Kratos would contravene that belief, and this is precisely the problem that pragmatism always runs into. If all you are meant to consider is what is practically important in front of you to deduce what is important, how then do you determine what is practically important? You must turn to those higher order principles. How do you determine what your goal should be? You must deduce that from a higher order principle. For Kratos, that principle is his wife, Faye. Hearing Atreus ridicule his mother's wishes while asking to carry her ashes, hearing Atreus completely devalue his mother because she was a mere human, Kratos finally realized both that his goal was actually motivated by the higher order principle of love and respect for his wife, and that he had taught his son exactly how to behave as the other horrible and selfish and murderous gods of Olympus and Asgard act, feeling no remorse for the many lives they disrupt, nor the many people they kill. So Kratos, moving beyond his own shame and his protective fatherly instincts, set to teaching Atreus to value something, to be better than the gods who came before. That value became clear in Jotunheim, land of the giants, where Kratos and Atreus learned that Faye was no mortal, but in fact a giant of Jotunheim, making Atreus part god, part giant, and part mortal. And it is this unification of these different facts that gives the value of hope to this land, predestined for Armageddon. It is a hope that the gods may learn about each other and may learn to empathize with each other that gives form to Atreus's values. In this land of double cross and deception, a god of hope could get up to a lot of mischief and play a lot of tricks. Thank you for watching, my friends. Hopefully, I was able to get this video out before the hype train moves on to another game. If you enjoyed God of War and this philosophical take on the game, subscribe and ring the notification bell. We are still a small community, and the only way we can grow is with your help. Share the video with your friends if you think they would enjoy it, and remember, stay true.